How y'all doing? Now I'm back again with another video, and today I'm going to show you some updates I made to the automated silence trimming script. I worked on this in a live stream for a little bit, like an hour last night, and the main differences that I did was I made it so that I didn't have to run like the detect silence and the actual script to trim the silence in two separate commands. And I also kind of more uh, made like the whole concept I had before about where I was adding like a buffer of an extra couple like 0.3 or 4 seconds to pad the start of the next clip so that the change wasn't so abrupt. I made some small tweaks to that. So that's what I'm going to show you all today. Before we get started, if you're enjoying my content and you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe down below, ding the little bell, drop me a like if you've been enjoying my content, and with that, let me show you the goods. So I'm just gonna jump in by showing you the version 2 of this script. It looks very similar to version 1 with some small differences. So this part is more or less the same, passing in the input path, the output path, but you'll notice now that I'm passing in the threshold and the duration like I was passing in to the detect silence script. That's because, as you will see down here, I am directly running that script in from this script itself, and I'm using subprocess run to run it. And let's see, I am grabbing the output, and I'm also saying to go ahead and decode the output as a string, because by default, if you don't have text equals true when you're doing running a subprocess, you get it in bytes. But I'm not interested in bytes. I'm interested in the like the decoded string returned from the output. And then because what this is doing is it's what I was normally writing out to its own separate file and then like reading it. I'm just capturing that output. And so what's happening here is um, I am getting the standard out that was captured, and I'm splitting it by new lines. Because as you recall before, you basically would get two values, spaced and limited, and then there's a new line for the next section of silence. So I am splitting it on the new lines so that each index of this list is the two values. When I originally ran this, the reason why I'm basically trimming off the last value is there's basically a blank new line in the standard output returned, and it was kind of, yeah, I can't use the blank line. So I'm trimming the last value off so I just get the entries that have the actual timestamps and stuff. So the way works now, this is still fairly similar. Initializing some variables. Now here, instead of me opening it up in file and reading it like I was before, I am calling that function I declared up above and getting those timestamps. This I have here just so I can see what timestamps are being generated. This is still the same, opening up the video with the MoviePy library, grabbing the duration, creating an empty list. And so this part's a little different too. So before, I had basically an infinite loop that only broke once I told it to break, when it ran out of, when it had no other lines to read from the file. But since I just have a list now, I'm just iterating over the list. And this part is even similar, where I am stripping like white space if there was any for whatever reason, and splitting on spaces. So that gives me the ending timestamp and the duration like we were before from the file. This is me just printing out what I got. So this is the other part that's a little different. before, that whole concept of like padding in between the clips to make the change less abrupt, I was uh, basically like adding it to the, what was I doing? I was adding it to the start of the next clip, I believe. But when I was just kind of watching some videos the other day of people who probably had like an editor or something, uh, removing the like dead spots, I noticed it seemed more natural and more pleasant to watch, where it would the end of one clip would trail off for about, excuse me, for about half a second or less, and then just immediately start the next clip. So I think that concept seemed better to me. So instead of adding the ease to the start of the next clip, I'm just adding it to the end of the current clip, which will give you that like that little trail off once you're done talking, and then starts the next clip talking. That seems much more pleasant to interact with that way. So this all still the same. Um, Doing some sanity checks to make sure that the duration of the clip is at least a second, because again, as I specified in the last video, if for whatever reason, if the clip is less than a minute, it just shits. Then this doesn't work at all. Uh, this is to make sure that the duration of where we are now to the end of the actual video file is, again, more than a minute. So that way I don't like trim off, I don't like write the last part of the video out to its own clip and it's less than a minute, and again it crashes and nothing works. This is me just printing stuff so I can see what's being done, and this part's all still the same. Writing out the sub clip that actually has audio to its own clip, and I stick it in the list, and I set the last good timestamp to be the end of this timestamp, so that the next clip will start at the end of the silence of the last section of silence. That's just counting so I can count how many clips are being done. This is another thing I did before, was I wasn't actually checking to see, did I actually make any clips? Because if I didn't make any clips, I don't actually want to save anything. So if the list is empty, I just exit. Yeah, because nothing needs to be done basically. I could technically do this when I'm generating the timestamps. I'm not doing that there just yet though, because I have another project idea in mind now that I got from the like one dude that popped into my stream last night, and I think I will actually stream myself doing that tomorrow, which will be me basically applying the same logic, but for detecting and cutting out the sections of the video that don't have frozen frames. I already have a video kind of similar to that using a filter called MP Decimate, but it only works on the video. It doesn't affect the audio. So I have to strip the audio out. If I basically apply the same logic of using the freeze detect to get timestamps and to extract subclips and then combine the subclips, I can do the same thing but still actually keep the audio. Not sure I'd have a use for it, but someone else might have a use for it. This is to make sure that the last part of the video is, again, greater than or at least 1 second, because otherwise text shit doesn't work. Then we take all the clips, combine them into one. Then we save this new combined video into its own that output path that I gave it, and then we close it because we're done, and then that's it. So that's the like version 2 of this, where it's calling the silence detection script itself, so I don't have to make 2 separate calls and write shit out to a file or whatever. And to show you what this looks like, I will show you a little test recording I did, and then what the recording looks like after I've processed it. So let's go to videos, and you will see here there is a test with silence and no silence result. So the test with silence is the test recording I did to use the trim silence stuff on. So I'll let it play. It's like 20 seconds. Should be able to hear me, I think. If all this silence gets removed. There we go. It might have been too quiet. Please. Get the hell out of my recording. What? So, you would think basically that last part of the video basically won't be used at all because there's like all that silence, right? So now we're going to, actually this should be pretty fast. I'm going to actually just let this, I'm going to process this. Let's show you what it looks like. So yeah, so I'm using my script, and the first argument is that test clip. The output is that no silence result. I'm saying I want the threshold to be negative 35 decibels, and the silence, I'm gonna change this to 1.2. So the silence has to be under this threshold for 1.2 seconds at least to be considered silence. And then for the easing, this is for the easing. If I don't pass in an easing, it just, I think it has a default of using like 0.2 seconds. And I'll we'll just keep it 0.2 seconds. So I'll let this run, and you'll see there's all the timestamps. There's the clips. It's getting the clips. It's writing out the video file now. And also me doing this is making my compositor shit. That's why you're seeing flickering. That's okay. Should only last a couple seconds. So this isn't necessarily a fast process because it has to like combine and re-encode everything. So not fast, but still much faster than you doing this manually. Okay, it's done. And it's going to do, what did I call it again? No silence. Okay. So let's check one thing real quick before I run this. So let's run media info on the unprocessed version. And okay, what the fuck? Oh, duh. That's the wrong path, you genius, with silence. Thank you. So you'll see that the original recording is like just under 21 seconds. If we check it on the silence, the processed version, where is it? No silence. No. Right today, output, bro. No silence result. Thank you. You will see that this one is, where are you? This one is 12 seconds. So it trimmed off about 8.5 seconds, something like that. Yeah. So now let's run it. Let's see what it sounds like. If I can find my command, MPV, no silence result. Go. Hello there. This is a test. I want to see if all the silence gets removed. Please. Get the hell out of my recording. See? You'll notice there was still like one little section that there was still a silence. That's because I can only assume the levels where it dropped below negative 35 did not exceed 1.2 seconds. So there you go. This is the version 2 of my script that I worked on for like an hour last night whenever I was recording. That's all I got for this video. If you liked it, if it helped you out at all, if you think it's interesting, drop me a like, subscribe, share the video if anyone else that might find it interesting. If you got any questions, or if you have any requests of some things you would like to see, you can drop me a comment down below. If you would like to follow me on social media, I got some links down there for specifically Twitter, and if you want to go on my Discord server. If you'd like to support the channel, which would be awesome, by the way, I got some links down there down below as well. And with that, y'all come on back now, and I'll see you next time.